Hi, Theresa.
Come in.
Oh,
Messages.
let's have a look around. Wonderful studio. Look at that. Nice eye roll there from Theresa. This is a fantastic studio, Theresa, and perhaps you'd like to tell me how you set it up. You run workshops here, don't you?
Yes, print workshops on Wednesdays and Saturdays or Sundays. You can't get too many people in here, about 4 people maximum, or if they're people who are kind of printing and they do a lot of printing, then they've got lots of stuff and they like to have a bit of space. So you're usually about 4 people plus me. So I try to get on with something while we're here. But I might have people who are in different levels of learning about printmaking, or they just want to get on with it.
Tell me where they all go.
You go here, I can go there, then you can fit 3 people along there on the bench.
That's really well set up.
There wasn't anything in here when we came.
Okay.
I was in the studio next door, but I needed a sink, and this was the only thing I was talking to the management about, and they said, well, why don't you just move in next door and do some classes to pay the extra rent, sort of thing, or whatever, we'll get a share.
That's a bit cheeky of them to suggest that you should earn extra money in order to pay for your...
Well, I was worried about it. I was worried because it was considerably more, higher amount of money. And because it goes up, it tends to, not every year, but it does tend to go up. I thought, I could do classes, why not? I've been doing teaching for years and years, so... I didn't want to share, so this is where I keep the acid when it's viable, and I have different sized baths, and I've got a extraction fan there. I also do ferric chloride, but I just keep it in there because it's very messy. It's not fumy, but it's messy. And this is where we soak the paper.
Okay.
And we squeegee off the paper once it's soaked, and then it goes over here. We have plastic there normally, and we just put the wet paper, you blot it off and put it in the plastic ready in a pile for you to print. This was the first press I had.
Oh, okay.
I got it as a result, I'm very proud to say, when I was had the luck to be in the Royal Academy Summer Show, the first time I went in for it, got in and sold out of prints. So I was able to buy a press. Not quite enough money to buy one with gears. Basically, you use your feet and your hands to turn the star wheel so that you can get extra pressure on the press. But I use this press because I can adjust the pressure here.
Yeah.
And I use it for maybe lino as well as bigger plates.
Yeah.
This one is a very nice press, and everybody wants to use it because it's got a good general size. You can work up to a sort of A3 size paper and maybe A4 size plates or slightly bigger, and it does print nicely. So and this one is geared, of course, which the other one isn't. Years ago, when we were at Ambulance Prints, we made iron-on stencils.
Yeah.
And that stump poster was made with iron-on stencils.
Yeah, I think I remember it. We went sticking them up round South East London, didn't we?
Yeah.
On the Old Kent Road and all that.
Yeah. And people came. This is the different stages of an etching plate, and the final stage over there. You can see here, this is a zinc plate. This has got an aquatint and a hard ground on it, and a bit of spit biting.
Okay.
It's called spit biting. So this is the plate before I'd done the aquatint, so it's just the outlines. So you put like a wax ground, which is this stuff, onto a metal plate, which is on here, and then you draw with a very fine needle and draw lines into the wax, and then this plate then goes into the acid, and the acid bites depending on how long you leave it in for. I made it bite a long time on there and a very little time on there, so I had a little tiny outline there in which I was going to put my
shadow, my watery shadow. So I did a spit bite around there, which is painting with acid onto an aquatint. You can see here, that's with the line and the aquatint and the spit bite. I like spit bite because it's sort of quite watery, it can be cloudy, it can be expressive, but it's a nice way of working with acid. So I kept that as one single plate. And then I've got another plate here, which shows you the background. And of course, everything is in reverse. This is a sugar lift. All those areas where you've got all these tones, that's created with a thing called a sugar lift, where you have a sugar solution and you paint it on the plate, it dries, and then you cover the whole thing with a liquid form of this, and it just protects everything. And then it dries, and then you put the whole plate into a bath of hot water and lift off the areas where the sugar solution was, which is all these little dots. I spattered it on. I've always painted with sugar lift, you know, doing little expressive marks, but actually you can spatter as well.
Yeah.
It's a colour version,
Yeah.
so you do lots of different versions of colour, trying out different colourways.
These pieces that we see now, these were about senses, weren't they? They were for a project about the different senses. I'm very drawn to the one with a hand inside a hand. Can you tell me what you were thinking about when you came up with that?
I was mucking about and I just saw these little toys, you know, bits of dolls and things like that. Put it in my hand and I thought, oh, well, that would make a great bit. So I did two hands. One has a toy actually spiking the hand,
yeah.
and one is caring and the other one is spitefulness.
Yeah.
Which probably should have done.
Or spikefulness.
Spikefulness, yes.
I noticed in your work there are figures, quite lonely looking figures or walking figures in landscapes or very diffuse landscapes. And you've got an example over here, quite fascinating one with this kind of trail or spiral.
I mean, I've exaggerated it, but it was a pattern in the sand with some figures disappearing off into the distance.
The character in the picture has done an artwork or has deliberately done something, you know.
Yeah.
So you've got an artwork within an artwork or something.
Yeah, these are influenced by the Pembrokeshire countryside or beaches. Because I go there a lot. They're taken from pictures above, looking down. I've never been much of a landscape person, but I sort of am now in a more imaginary way.
I find that happens in middle age.
Yeah.
It accelerates.
Yeah, I think it happens, doesn't it? It comes to us all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be in London, but I'm also being pulled away to
Wales. There's some interest here in, astronomical phenomenon, vernal equinoxes and phases in the moon and all that. Is that something you've got from Paul Nash or something like that?
Ooh, I wish I could say that. It was about the time and the tides. It was just about the phases of the moon and the night swimming.
I've seen several of your pieces with swimmers.
Yeah.
So it's obviously something that intrigues you.
I'm really not much of a swimmer myself, but I admire people who do it and do it in all seasons. I remember years ago I went to Portugal and I think I nearly drowned in this sort of, I thought it was very shallow water and the waves got very high. Before that I was really enjoying being in the water. And since then I haven't really gone much in the sea.
When painters come in here and they say, it's about time I started doing prints because I can't sell my paintings and I'm starving and all that. You say that they're the most disappointed if things go wrong with the printing process.
Exactly that. Yes, I think they can be. If they're used to, people who are used to being in control of their medium, which painters are, I guess, and they've perhaps never done any printmaking, and they sort of have a go and they go, this is just, I just can't get to grips with it, and they expect to be in charge of it on day one, or at least on day two, and it's never, you're never in charge. The method is in charge. You just can predict what it may do.
Do you tell them off when they
I try to be nice. I try not to tell people off because it puts them off.
So Theresa, the Royal Academy
Yeah.
is quite important to printmakers, isn't it? Because
Oh.
if you get one in there, you're set up for half the year.
Yes, or a whole year, depending on how much you charge.
She's busy looking for her cat that she got in
My
there.
cat, yeah. Here we go. There's the cat.
Oh, it's a great cat.
Everybody does cats. Everybody who's, yeah, even Degas, Toulouse-Lautrec.
There you go. There you go.
all
You
do
see.
Cats.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
should all do cats.
I do sheep.
You do. You recommended I do a sheep.
Yeah,
And
the
I
top
will-
sellers.
I'm seriously thinking about it.
There's a close up of the cat. Beautiful.
That set me up for a while, for a year. Yeah.
Till the next one.
Till the next one. The plate was zinc, and I had put 100 on the edition, and it was touch and go whether it would survive the whole run.
Yeah.
And it did, just about, but not without me having kittens about.
Yes.